Narcissistic siblings. Somebody's narcissistic partner is somebody's narcissistic child, narcissistic sibling, narcissistic parent, boss, co-worker, friend. They might not always act the same around everybody, but if they have 5 of the 9 traits and they have NPD, they are going to be a narcissist no matter who they are around. Some just hide it better than others. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. I hope you're finding the information helpful on the channel. If you would like any more information on anything, please add into the comments what you would like to know more about. If you are new to the channel, this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder. Those people you might have been dealing with throughout your life, or you are still dealing with, how to handle yourself around them if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. So when it comes to narcissistic siblings, sometimes you can have narcissistic parents, other times you might not have had narcissistic parents. When you've got narcissistic parents and narcissistic siblings, it's an extremely hurtful, toxic situation to be in, as often those narcissistic parents will enable the narcissistic sibling. When you try to discuss with your parents what your sibling may have done, your narcissistic parents will enable them and often invalidate your experience, gaslight your experience, play down your sibling's behaviour, and come at you with things like, "I'm sure it wasn't that bad. You know what they're like. What did you do to cause it?" And this can play into adulthood. In adulthood, narcissistic parents and non-narcissistic parents can treat you like a child in adulthood and say, "Oh, why can't you two just get along for once? Why do you two have to make my life so difficult? Why can't you just be nice to them?" You're the one that's then left wondering what you've done wrong and not what the narcissistic sibling has done wrong, or the fact that your parents are enabling that narcissistic sibling. And if you had narcissistic parents, your sibling will have often been a flying monkey to your parents. Your sibling will have often joined in with the parents' scapegoating behaviour towards you, their invalidating behaviour towards you. They will have joined in with your parents' humiliation of you, belittling of you, criticising of you, shaming of you, the blaming of who you are as a person. It's a horrible experience when you are a child with a narcissistic parent and a narcissistic sibling. Not always do children from these family roles grow up to be narcissistic. Sometimes they might have 1 or 2 learned behaviours. You might self have 1 or 2 learned behaviours, yet with good intentions behind your behaviours. They are not toxic behaviours. So they don't always grow up to be narcissistic. Some grow up to be very empathetic and often people-pleasing, because we are conditioned from early childhood how to get conditional love. So we are always trained up to walk on eggshells around people, not voice our opinion, because whenever we have, we've been put down. Please people, do our best to help others, ignore our own feelings, ignore our own beliefs, ignore our own values. We might not even know what our values are and our beliefs are when you've grown up in that sort of environment. So how do you tell the difference between normal sibling behaviour, where you might just have those random fallouts, you might disagree with each other because you've got that close connection? Siblings can fall out, siblings can disagree. When it comes to narcissistic siblings, they would need at least 5 of the 9 characteristics to be classed as a narcissist. I shall add that video up here. Some signs you might be dealing with a narcissistic sibling are: 1. Extremely envious of you, projecting all their faults, mistakes, failings or their insecurities onto you, often pulling you down. Anything you do good at, they will find a way to either take the credit for or criticise you for. Anything that you do make a mistake at or that you might not be as talented at, they will criticise and they will jump on that and they will humiliate you in front of other people about that. Exploitation, so they are only ever going to be interested in you if they have something that they can take from you. Self-entitled, so they're going to be very self-centered and they're always going to want things their own way, often throwing those major tantrums when things don't go their way, whether that's the putting you down in front of other people or going on those silent treatments, those sulks, or raging out of nowhere, ruining special occasions yet pinning the blame on you. Believing they're entitled to take whatever they want of yours with no consequences for their actions, yet that double standards where you're not allowed to take anything of theirs. They believe they should just have your things and it's a given, and if you have a problem, that's your problem, but you are not allowed to touch any of their stuff. Which is that down to that self-entitled hypocrite. So it's one rule for your sibling and another rule for you and other siblings. A lack of empathy, so little compassion to your feelings. If you're around family and something's happened where you might need support, they will bring something up that's happened far worse to them, or they will pull you down for being too sensitive or overreacting. And if you've got narcissistic parents, they will most likely join in by saying, stop making a big deal out of things. When things go wrong in your life, they can have that either quiet smugness that something's gone wrong within your life, or loud smugness when something's gone wrong in your life. If something negative's happened to you, they can boast about something that has positively happened to them. Again, that lack of empathy and lack of awareness to your feelings, or if they do have an awareness to your feelings, they lack the empathy to care for your feelings. They can plot and plan against you. They can plot and plan against you in childhood. They can do something, they can bait you into reacting in childhood and then go and cry wolf to mum and dad and then get you into trouble for the thing that your sibling actually did to you. They can plot and plan when it comes to wills and estates and family events, trying to leave you out or trying to bait you into a situation in that family event so that they can then talk about you with family. In childhood, they may have bullied you, intimidated, stole from you, threatened you, and this may go into adulthood and they will have threatened you not to tell other people. They may have stuck up for you in occasions when somebody else came to get you, so they've got that playing the hero role, or they play the victim role to your parents about how you've done something to them. A narcissistic sibling, like all narcissists, will never play the villain. They are the villain. And a narcissistic sibling will play nice if they want something from you. When it comes to narcissistic siblings, growing up, we often don't see what is actually happening to us. It's not until we are out of the situation that we begin to see the clarity within that situation. The fog begins to lift. It can be very, very difficult cutting off family members, as sometimes we have to do it for our own mental health. And if you've got children and they've got children, you have to make the decision and you have to stick to the decision, so it's no longer that pull. It is on a spectrum, so there will be some with limited contact, knowing who you are as a person, understanding that their opinions of you are not for you, letting them talk. When you achieve something, let them pull you down. Stand there within the knowledge within your own mind. Don't explain it to them, because they will deny, they will gaslight, they will blame shift, they will word salad, they will do all they can to bring you down. So stop explaining yourself to them. If you've done something and you're somewhere and they're trying to bring you down over achievement, just recognize your own truth, recognize their learn their pattern of behavior, understand that, oh, right, they're envious because I've done this. There's nothing I can do to help them. There's nothing I can do to help them achieve something. There's nothing I can do to help them turn these emotions off. It's who they are. The thing I can do is let them rant and rave and get it off their chest, and I will carry on doing me. I will carry on being me. I will carry on living my life. The same as when something negative happens within your life, try to speak to people who will be there for you. Try not to speak to people who are going to feed all that information into the narcissist to enable your narcissistic sibling to then use that information against you to hurt you. And if they do get the information somehow and try to bring you down or criticize something or invalidate your feelings, recognize that it's on them, recognize that it's their behavior, recognize that they are that insecure. They have got to gloat about the negative things that are happening within your life, and people that care about you would not do that to you. People who have empathy would be able to show some form of compassion. If they're unwilling to show you any form of compassion, they're not the people whose opinion matters. That is who they are as a person. So creating your values, the values of behaviour you will not accept from other people. And one easy way to do this is start writing down how you treat people and how you don't treat people. How you don't treat people is what you will no longer tolerate from other people. How you do treat people is what you will tolerate from other people. So learning your values so that you can create your belief system around who you are as a person and around the things that you would like from your life, so then you can create your boundaries around those and no longer let people step over the mark. You can explain yourself once, but you have to recognize their pattern of denial and projection and blame shifting. So when they are coming at you, recognize whether they are projecting their own life's insecurities onto you rather than taking ownership of their own, and have sort of an invisible barrier there that it cannot cross, and just without actually directing it back at them, just leave it there and stand and walk in your own truth. It's not always easy getting to that point when you've been gaslighted throughout your entire life. If you have a sibling that isn't narcissistic, that gets you, yes, you can feel like you are gossiping when you are talking about the narcissistic sibling. With gossiping, this is people who take half truths, who lie, who gather a little bit of information, add a little bit of their own into the mix and spread it far and wide to create drama, to create conflict, to create an atmosphere, which narcissistic siblings are very good at doing, triangulating within the family dynamics. I'll add the triangulation video up there. I think it's more on a narcissistic partner, but all narcissists that use triangulation, it's the same sort of games that they are playing. So when it comes to discussing with a healthy sibling, it's more because you've lived that same experience, so you can validate each other. You're not doing it to gossip to anybody and everybody. You're doing it to get that validation with the life that you've lived, the experience you've shared, the reality of the things that you have actually been through. So if you do have a sibling that you can discuss it with, it's nice to be able to discuss it with them. And if you can both seek therapy together, it's nice to go together, because you've got that mutual understanding of what's actually happened. If anybody was raised or has narcissistic siblings, if you went no contact, explain what helped you come to that decision in the comments, if you are able to do so, just to help other people recognise, because sometimes it can harbour a lot of guilt when we remove toxic family members from our lives. When we go no contact with toxic family members, we're the ones that can feel guilt, and we can also, other family members can make us feel guilt or assume that we're the ones with the problem, or that we're being awkward by doing so. And this is a case when we have to get comfortable with losing the wrong people in life, so that we can begin to find who we are as a person and find the right people within our life. Also, if you have managed to do limited contact, grey rock, I'll have grey rock up here, please add what helps you in that situation to help others, as this is all about building a community to help raise awareness, raise understanding, and find the methods that work for each of us as an individual to help us through the situation. I shall add the videos that I've linked in the video in the description to give more information on those. I have got a shorter video on narcissistic siblings that I did last year. Similar sort of information, but I shall add that in the description also. Thank you very much for listening, and go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have a great day. Bye.